All right.
Hello.
Hello, and this time no buttons, Henry. You're not allowed to push the. No, don't push
There's a sound effect for this.
They are very tempting, colorful buttons, but we're not gonna press them this time. Instead, we are gonna talk about what do we call it? The AI pushback or the big AI debate. Kind of, is AI, destroying our ability to think? Is it just causing slop to be produced? Really kind of bad for progress and knowledge work and all of that. Or on the other hand, is it the kind of the great magical silver bullet that will now do everything and liberate us to not have to worry about anything and kind of make food flow from the skies type of thing. So this whole thing of like, is it good or bad? Basically, that's the naive version of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed the same. I feel that when I looked at LinkedIn, and if there's an anti-AI post, it has like 2,000 likes, and by far the most popular AI posts are these anti-AI. How AI is not able to name animals or do this or
No. All right, I have created an arbitrary criteria. And picked a arbitrary model, and it failed in this task, basically. And
it doesn't even know how many R's there are in strawberry.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe inherent in these is that if it doesn't know how many R's there are in strawberry, it must be bad in everything, right? Or kind of equally bad than a human would be if a human could not count the letter R's from a spelled out word. So if you're so stupid as a human that you cannot count, then corresponding as an AI, you must be fundamentally stupid, or maybe stupid is wrong word, but kind of unhelpful.
Well, I think it gets actually to stupidity and intelligence. That I think this critique is very valid for those in that context. If somebody thinks that these are really intelligent models,
yes.
And I think there is
where intelligence is seen as a kind of a same somehow like vector as a human intelligence.
Yeah. And I think the AI industry is partially responsible by using words like thinking and reasoning. We have reasoning models that don't reason. We have thinking mode for a technology that can't think, and in that context, I think it's a valid critique, right?
Yeah. And even the whole thing, it's artificial intelligence. It's somehow like should be our thinking, which of course it is not, right?
And by the way, the people that hate the term artificial intelligence the most are the computer science people.
Yeah.
They completely, for a long time, they avoided using it if possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, if we accept, if we come from this perspective that this is not intelligent technology, it's a technology, it's a data, it's information technology, right? Yeah. Algorithms that process data. Is this backlash and criticism warranted in your mind, or?
I think it's a fair debate in a way, and I love this point of like, let's just call it kind of language-based computation or whatever, token computation. Like if you just come with a different name and look at that technology kind of neutrally, I think it has already proven that it's quite useful for many things. Like without doubt, you can do products like Skimle based on that, for example, or some other lower quality product. no, but like there's for sure applications like coding agents, for example. Without doubt they are able to code working software systems that you can prove kind of mathematically that the thing is working. And I think like we talk a lot, or I love to give the example of the microwave oven, right? In the 50s, 60s, I think late 60s when it was introduced. First, everyone was trying to sell it as the magical one appliance to rule them all, like your magical kitchen appliance. You can cook, you can bake, you can and all these recipes were published by the manufacturers, but also all the kind of lifestyle magazines had this like here's how you do a bread in the microwave oven, and everyone saw this kind of magical mystical silver bullet, and then of course took I don't know
Probably, hopefully not very long.
yeah, couple of years and people realized, no, you can do two things with the microwave. You can reheat food and you can do popcorn. And no serious chef would do any of these as part of their, Michelin offering would not be reheated food nor popcorn. So it's not really a kind of a tool for that. It's a great tool for other things. And I think kind of, of course, the question of like how fast and to what direction AI will evolve. But if we take the current level of technology, I think it's going to similarly find, what is reheating and popcorn for AI, what is trying to serve a delicious bakery thing, and it just fails completely out of it. And finding that kind of fine line. So it's not the black or white, it's kind of shades of gray. I think discovering those.
But yeah, I think a lot of the criticism also and backlash connects to this hype, the bubble, right? Yeah. Because if you look at how many trillions of dollars is basically the value of the AI sector, that's not for reheating food, right?
No.
That's not a $5 trillion opportunity.
No, and exactly, and I think the valuation is based on seriously improving productivity and efficiency of human labor, right? So replacing the jobs or creating new value and at a significant scale.
Yeah.
And I think with the current technologies and use cases, I'm just not sure in real life, like, do we have enough of use cases with the existing technology in a way? Like, would that be enough? Because like, I just don't see a lot of news of like people really using agentic AI or AI for kind of that scale of things. Like if you take Skimble, for example, it's not going to replace an army of, or like replace a huge group of researchers anyway. No, it's gonna allow researchers to do research better. Maybe increase the number of researchers because, as we spoke in the previous episode, now you get a better tool and a better sledgehammer, and then you can actually like apply qualitative analysis to new areas, for example. And so, but like, so if you take that backdrop that it's not really currently that kind of a game changer level thing, if you look at the recent news from OpenAI that if 2 years ago they said we'll come with the general intelligence in 2027 and it's it's gonna all change, and so now it's like we're gonna sell advertisements and porn.
Oh,
and that's the kind of the two cheapest ways to monetize anything, right? And it doesn't sound like a AGI multi-trillion valuation type of play anymore. And for some reason they're now going to that field, which in my mind means that the roadmap doesn't have a lot of other stuff on it. Like in the Skimler roadmap, I think these two use cases or these two features would be quite in the bottom of the development list. Like let's monetize with advertisements in the middle of the research or something else, right?
So no, flashing banners are coming. It's gonna be like MySpace revisited. Yeah. Or Alta Vista. Yeah, no, that's not on the agenda. That's a good point. One point that I heard that was super smart is that if you look at the human brain, like it hasn't really evolved substantially. I think it depends how you see it, like 30 to 100,000 years. Like at least let's say 20,000 years, the human brain is exactly as it was.
Yeah.
But if you look what we accomplish with human brain now compared 20,000 years ago, it's completely different, right?
Yeah.
And that's the argument I sometimes hear about, or this is which I think is a brilliant argument, that in the same way we haven't had this like infrastructure around the LLMs that has not evolved, that maybe if the LLM is the brain, it's nowhere near the human brain, but like we could have similar like improvements in what we get out of them if we harness them the right way.
Yeah, like better senses, better muscles, better
better social organization, right?
Which is a bit agentic thing of like let's have multiple AIs interact.
Yeah.
Which is exactly like building a society of AIs, and maybe that is the case. or maybe the scaling laws hold true and the brain will evolve as well. And of course, that's the benefit with kind of silicon and programming is that you can evolve them in shorter time spans. Right?
Yeah.
So there might be a chance to add something there, and then of course the whole game changes again. But at the moment, it's just it's the whole debate: is it now AI winter again? Is it AI summer? Is it AI autumn? But this whole thing of like, how will the core, or maybe there's two discussions: how will the core AI evolve? Will there be inventions similar to attention and those kind of mechanisms that will help the core brain develop, like world models or other type of things? And then secondly, I think for sure we will see the harness or the kind of surrounding kind of the body and the society be evolving, right? I think that's for sure.
Yeah. The concept of harness is really interesting. We were at the Anthropic event, and Anthropic thinks of Claude Code as an agent harness. It's kind of a harness, It's I don't know how you describe, but like a set of tools and boundaries and guidelines and memory and stuff for the LLM, and I think the success of Claude Code shows how important that harness is and how much value it can bring.
Exactly, and then kind of optimizing even your LLM to the harness itself. So not trying to win all possible benchmarks, but actually making it kind of a useful, pragmatic, kind of smart worker for a harness in a way, like the Opus and the Sonnet models have been optimized for that sense. And so that's why kind of at Skimlet, that's the model we use, right? It might not have the best psychophancy and the best emotions and the whatever the strawberry counting, R counting things, but it's a helpful tool or helpful brain and a very helpful harness.
I think since that since late November, I've been increasingly thinking of Skimlet as a harness in a way for LLMs, and we do certain things like we manage what kind of output can be and like how it's structured. We provide the LLM tasks a certain structure, and for sure, I think and that's kind of interesting that with Skimmel you can use older models and get the same output because we control so well how the LLM is used and what it's allowed to do, and if it misbehaves, we say you try again. Like you have to try again until you fit our criteria, and now it's been like developing this harness that gets the smaller models or open access models create the same quality output that you would, or better quality output that you would get from the best ones. But I think then the next thing is like, how can we leverage this like Opus 4.5 to create really great custom reports out of the data? Like
and I think this whole question of like, will the open source kind of locally run LLMs, will that kind of keep catching up and growing and kind of, if the centrally held AI models don't develop anymore that fast and don't become more useful, if the AI summer is over, then I think these local models, open weight models will catch up. And then that changes the whole game, because then you could, I always dream of having a little H200 local language model box somewhere in the Skimmel shed, maybe outside, to make it warm in the winter, but kind of do processing of things locally, because then you are in control of the intelligence fully. You know that there is no even possibility of leaking. It's kind of in your own system. You can spend as much compute as you want and so on. So I think the sense of like local intelligence, and also if you consider like kind of geopolitics and all the uncertainty and so on. So I think that might be a really growing trend. And we're certainly looking at it very actively in terms of like allowing to run Skimlet in your local fully airtight container, but also local model.
I think that's a good question. I mean, the whole point of cloud was that you don't need to care about these things. Like if something breaks, you don't need to care. It's all handled by somebody else. Like a compute as a service, right? Not as something I want to buy. And running a company, I definitely appreciate. I don't need to, own any boxes. I don't need to maintain any boxes. I don't need to worry if something breaks. So I'm like a big fan of cloud in that sense. But yeah, you're right that there's no reason why you couldn't buy that box and run the models now. And especially I find with Skimmel, because as we talked, it's asynchronous, so you can process the things in advance, so offline. So even if you have a bit lower performance box, right? You have a
Steam engine.
Steam engine. Yeah, no, the H200, but you have a lot of data. You can just let it process your data during the night.
Yeah.
And then, overnight, and in the morning you have a fresh Skimmel table. And
that you take with your coffee.
Yes,
and,
yes.
oh, what is here in the skimlet?
Yes, exactly.
Replacing the newspaper of the 20.
Yeah, but that's quite interesting, and it's something that actually I also, I mean, we talked a bit about that. Maybe we should buy one of these boxes, and I checked the price. It's like 5,000 euros. You get this NVIDIA H200 box. And then for those customers like law firms who have super secret data, we could say that, okay, here is the box. You just, put it in your cellar. There's no internet connection. The data will never, there's no physical way for data to leave this box. So I think it's pretty appealing in a way.
Yeah. We steered quite away from our original discussion of is AI good or bad? But
yeah. So hey, I regarding this, I now saw, was it Financial Times? There was a piece of news that two-thirds of people feel negatively about AI in Europe and US. So by far the majority sees this as a negative development.
Yeah, which I think is the same with like a lot of technology that is promising human replacement somehow, which
must have been even worse with steam engine, right?
Yeah. Or maybe they're the kind of the horses who are revolting. With the cars and stuff. But I think it's up for, or it's the whole. I think there's kind of components of that. But one is that will it evolve? How much more will it evolve in terms of usefulness in the coming years? Like, is it is the valuation kind of a hype thing, or will it really be able to use it to really kind of do human jobs at a bigger scale, right? And then second, of course, how we then decide to use it for that. Like, do we deploy it maximum to replace humans? Do we use it to augment humans? How do we deal with social security and all of this? I think it's a choice as well. There's a bit of a question mark on the technology, and then a big choice for humans to make around how we use that technology.
Yeah, and even if people don't lose their jobs, I think there's something threatening about AI, and it was in Financial Times. Bern Murdoch wrote very nicely that the thing is that your expertise, that has been kind of your professional expertise, now that AI is able to do it, like write the code, that becomes like a technical necessity, right? Your expertise is just something that needs to be done, but it's not doesn't actually involve this kind of distinctive skill. And I think it's now with images, for example, that AI can do the drawing in a way, and then it's more like, okay, now the skill is, how do I envision this thing? Like, what's the taste?
Yeah.
Or maybe
how do I reject the bad ones? And
exactly. And in coding, it's like the architecture, big architectural lines, and like, what do we want to actually do? And then that kind of, for those people where the kind of the skill of drawing or the skill of writing the programming code was kind of their expertise, they will feel devalued, right?
Yeah, because these skills, this taste and architecture, so they are in a way managerial skills. Like, they were skills that you would develop later, and not everyone would develop those. And kind of, so it requires people to kind of grow quite a bit to go from a really an individual contributor into a kind of a real expert and kind of critical expert and so on. And I think that's going to be really tough. And those are the kind of cognitively challenging parts of a job in a way. Like you have like it's easy to do the kind of the manual part often. Then you really have to use energy to think for the other ones, and so it kind of makes your jobs more stressful maybe if it's all about that thinking and judgment. And of course, there's a question of then how many of these judgment type of people do we need versus the kind of full workforce? Because at the moment, there's maybe one manager or one, image editor at a newspaper or one architect in a software team versus the 10 people today. So it's really, that's another, I think, question of like how many are needed, and can everyone, and does everyone want to reach that level of professional?
It's like you look at how many producers there are in music industry versus musicians, right?
Yeah.
It's a very small number of...
and all the helpers of the musicians, like all of that, like, if you only need the 2 people who code to whatever, Suno or whatever is the tool that you just put, like, code a new hit and so on. And I think the big risk there is, like, the more you start to automate and do stuff with AI, the less kind of innovation and evolution and change will happen. Because basically if you would have these few developers or few producers or architects or whatever, they would be confined to the current space of technology and paradigms and so on, because that's where the LLMs have been trained. So you cannot ask it to say that, make a 2027 hit music song, because it will like no training data. It can try to generate something, but that's a completely different form of activity than kind of replicating a 2025 or 2026 song or architecture pattern or language and so on. So I think this whole notion of like where will change emerge if you don't do the kind of the physical part as well.
I think this is really, really interesting in a way that that I think AI is driving to both directions. It's difficult to predict. The future is difficult to predict, but
famously,
we don't know which way it's gonna go, because I have also this counter idea that there's this thing that people are able to do much more with AI. So we have much broader set of people who can do music or design games or write the books, and in a way kind of AI is liberating everyone to accomplish more and do bigger projects. At the same time, then there's this thing that how many people are needed in the profession, and
somehow kind of creativity goes to that outer layer of like what is the game about, but there's less of that in the how is it being programmed or kind of what are the elements of that. Somehow like that layer becomes like cemented in a way, like it's going to be the same programming language and the same patterns and groups and so on. Like if you think of gaming, for example, with the 3D gaming in the early days, a lot of that innovation was actually from the kind of the really close to hardware layer, like how do you create these matrix calculations and quaternions and shaders and all of that then enabled Doom and Quake and those games to happen. So there's value in that kind of code level innovation as well, which we will have less about maybe if you have people who are just able to talk about the game itself. And then somehow like AI rewards you for staying close to the kind of the average.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and doing basic stuff, because that's what it does pretty reliably. And that's definitely true, I think. And I'm sure that like if you do music, I'm not a very musical person. If you do music with AI, it's much better if you do this very kind of average music that exists already a lot.
Like a Finnish top 50 radio hit. I think they're probably made with AI. They all sound the same these days. The young people's music, it's all.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
Back in our days,
yes.
No.
Yeah, but is so if we wrap up this, is AI good or bad? Obviously, we are biased, right? We are in the AI good camp, but I think there are so many questions of the kind of socio-technical system, how it gets implemented in our society. What are the skills? And I'm afraid that if we don't develop new ways of working, people will just like replace
And then we get lower quality stuff and more of that. We get the automated AI slop writings, and people will just get offended by that, but accept it somehow that now it's So I think it's a technology like any other technology. I like this notion. Let's not call it intelligence. Let's just call it like a token computation plus harness or whatever. I'm not going to call it a new word, but like this whole notion, it's just a technology. It's up for us how we use it, and there's going to be a lot of years ahead when we have to figure out how to use it. And I think developing that taste and that being a connoisseur of what's the outcome and ignoring bad tools, picking up good tools, like Skimle.
Yes. He said Skimmel. I think a lot of the AI critique is not actually critique of the technology, it's critique about the societal discourse around AI.
Yeah.
And it's a critique of the emerging social organization and economic reality around AI. So
it's very well said. Yes.
Great.
Good. That was
it.
That was it. The end of the episode, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with new episodes of Skimlecast. And if you have any questions, comments, feedbacks, thoughts, dreams, fears, anything, extra time on your hand to write an email, just connect with us. Remember to hit the like button. Now this is a time when you point at the like button in the video, and all of the other kind of podcasty type endings here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you got to press the button.
You can cut it out.